Hello friends, my name is Emile and welcome back to Gran Turismo 2. Today we're continuing on with our Let's Play. This is episode 37, and in today's episode we're going to be tackling the last of the one-make races here in the West City. And for that we need to go ahead and go to Peugeot, where we find out the event is the 106 Challenge. For that of course we need a Peugeot 106, so let's go ahead and buy us a Peugeot 106. What colour should we have it in? I kind of like that yellow, but admittedly like that blue is probably nicer, so I'm gonna go for that blue. Now there's two versions of the 106. I could have had that one, or I could have had the Rally model, which has a bit less power but a bit less weight. Decided to go with the S16 though, because I prefer it. Anyways friends, I'm gonna go and tune the vehicle. I will see you guys in a second. Okay, so there we go, that's the Peugeot 106 fully upgraded, running about 200 horsepower. Anyway, let's head into our first race, which is, as always, going into a random course. Our first race with the Peugeot 106 goes to the test course. Yeah. So, essentially, I had to flick through the tracks a little bit. It wanted to give me Autumn Ring. We'd already done Autumn Ring with the Saxos, which were a similar sort of vehicle, so I decided not to do that. Then Grand Valley Speedway. Didn't really want to do the full version of Grand Valley Speedway. And then the game gives me Test Course, and, well, I'm afraid it has to be... You can't skip Test Course when it comes to the one-make races. It's just too funny. So, yeah. Anyways, Peugeot 106 test course, you know how we do it. Oh dear. Right, so I think actually the first ever track we got in these one-make races was test course, and that was with the Dodge Viper. This vehicle is not a Dodge Viper. Luckily the gears aren't too bad on this actually. I was expecting this vehicle to just like run out of steam after a while, but I mean it's still climbing after 240 kilometers an hour, which my kilometer knowledge isn't particularly good, but I believe that's about 150, 160 miles per hour in a Peugeot 106. So yeah, the vehicle isn't quite as slow as I may have thought, which is fine. Well, actually that's very good, because if it was as slow as I thought it would be, we'd be having some serious issues. I knew this was going to pop up eventually. I always thought it was going to pop up in the Fiat 500 episode, which, to be honest with you, I would have definitely indulged in Polyphony's thinking with that one. What's the top speed on this vehicle? 258, and I hate it when Gran Turismo does that. I hate, like, I think they got rid of it in the modern Gran Turismos, but basically in these older ones, as soon as you hit the rev limiter, apparently the revs actually bounce back down and you get a speed penalty. Now I don't know if that's just basically to stop people you know, constantly leaving it in gear and to teach them not to leave it in gear, but it is incredibly annoying when your vehicle's top speed is, well, 258, and as soon as the car hits 258, ooh, 259. 259 is the top whack of our Peugeot 106. This hasn't taken nearly as long as I expected it to actually, which is good, because if it had taken nearly as long as I expected it to, I would have grown a big beard by now. But anyways, Peugeot 106, cool little car. I talked about this car in Underground 2. This was actually my starter car in Underground 2. I think it might have actually been this exact model. Yeah, a very, very fun little car, especially in that game. I loved my little 106. I would have used it the entire way through the game if I could have, but nope, you can't do that. Either way though, apparently we beat all of the other 106s, which are about 6-7 seconds behind, which, considering those things are probably around about stock, that isn't too bad. Anyways, we get first place, and for all of that hard work we get 5,000 credits. Oh wow, I thought we'd only get 3,000. Anyways friends, I will see you in a second for racing modifications. Okay, it is now time to racing modify our Peugeot 106. So let's see what sort of vehicle we get in racing modifications. There you go, and that's the racing mod for the 106. It's pretty cool, however, that's the only racing mod for the 106. Doesn't matter whether you get the Rally or the S16, that's the racing mod you're going to end up with. Like I said though, admittedly it's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of the Peugeot 206 rally car, which I believe is in this game, actually. Yeah, it is. There's the 206 rally car. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Anyways, let's head back over to events and let's do the racing style events in the 106 challenge. Okay, so we now head to Laguna Seca for the 106 racing style race. Now, this game appears to be absolutely obsessed with giving me long tracks for these vehicles. I had a look at first. I can't remember what track it threw at me first. It was like Red Rock, and we did Red Rock with the Lanciers, which wasn't too long ago, so I decided to skimp on that one. And then it decided to throw Grand Valley Speedway at me, a track which A, I don't really like, and B, it's about 3 minutes in a car of this sort of stature. So yeah, I had to wait a while to get a track. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind doing a long track like test course the first time, but I'm not doing it a second time, especially for a vehicle which, admittedly, these 106s aren't quite as slow as I thought they were. They're still pretty slow. Like, they're not the quickest vehicles in the world, as you can probably see by the fact that we're a minute around Laguna Seca and we're not even at the corkscrew just yet. However, the 106, decent enough handling vehicle, which is quite impressive for this particular vehicle. I think it definitely handles better than the Saxo, which was essentially the same car as this, which we had on a couple of days ago. It was actually the first. It's actually kind of amusing when you consider the first one-make race for the West City was the Citroen Saxo, and the last one-make race for the West City is essentially a version of the Citroen Saxo, just built by someone else. So, oh sorry, right, this is where it gets a bit weird. Now, I need to actually research into this. I know the Citroen Saxo is based on the Peugeot 106, this vehicle. However, I need to actually find out whether the Peugeot 106 was based on the Citroen AX at all. Now, the AX was Citroen's small little dinky vehicle for, I believe they made it in the 80s. Oh, by the way, a Forza car pack's coming out today, which by the time you guys see this, it'll have been out for a couple of weeks. If there's a Citroen AX in that car pack, oh my god, I'm gonna be like, oh, you guys don't even know. Citroen AX GT Turbo, that was a car and a half, that was. There's some really awesome 80s hot hatches everyone's forgotten about, like the Citroen AX GT Turbo, Fiat Uno Turbo. There was some really awesome cars. I mean, I can't remember the name of it. It was a really obscure car at the time. I think it wasn't a Hyundai, was it? I'm thinking it was like a Hyundai or a Kia or an Isuzu or something. But there was a ridiculously quick hot hatch of theirs, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't. Yeah, there were some amazing hot hatches back in the 80s. Unfortunately, most people have sort of forgotten about some of the more obscure ones and just remember, you know, the 205 T6T, oh sorry, the 205 GTI and the Golf GTI, which fair enough, you know, they are the big daddies. They were the good one. They were the really, really good ones. But it still would be nice to see some of the more obscure ones. Either way, as you can see, there was apparently an equal share of S16s and rallies in this. Apparently the rallies are, on average, a little bit quicker. I think they're geared a bit shorter, which might have been why we succeeded at the test course quite well in the S16. Anyways, we get 7,000 credits, and I will see you guys in a second. So, there we go. As you can see, the 106 challenge has been completed with both normal and racing styles having a silver trophy. And that is actually it for the one-make races for the West City. In the next episode, we're going to be heading over to E-City and starting all of their one-make races, for which there's an awful lot. Also, in case you're wondering, there you go. We're 52% of the way through the game, apparently. So, there we go. Anyways, friends, I want to thank you all very much for watching. My name's been the Real Emile, and until next time, farewell.